The summer holidays had stretched into their third week, and for 14-year-old Alex, the monotony was setting in. His town, nestled beside the sprawling Green Shade National Park, was beautiful, but, in his opinion, achingly predictable. His best friend Samira, however, saw adventure in every rustling leaf and shadowed trail. It was Samira who burst through Alex's back gate one sweltering afternoon, her eyes alight with an excitement that was infectious. In her hand, she clutched a faded, leather-bound journal. "You will not believe what I found in Mrs. Gable's attic," she exclaimed, her voice a conspiratorial whisper. Mrs. Gable, their elderly neighbor, was moving and had allowed Samira to sift through some old boxes. The journal belonged to a local explorer from nearly a century ago, a man named Alistair Finch. Most of it detailed mundane observations about flora and fauna, but tucked into the very back, drawn on a brittle yellowed page, was a hand-drawn map. It depicted a section of Green Shade Park Alex and Samira knew well, or so they thought. One peak, labeled Serpent's Tooth, was marked with a distinctive X and the cryptic note, "Where the eagle sleeps, the forgotten path begins." Serpent's Tooth isn't on any modern maps, Alex mused, tracing the craggy outline with a finger. "And what forgotten path?" Samira grinned. "Exactly." Finch writes about local legends of a hidden viewpoint, a place so breathtaking it was kept secret. This has to be it. The challenge was irresistible. Alex, usually the more cautious of the two, felt a spark ignite within him. This was different from their usual hikes. This was a genuine mystery. Their preparations were a blend of Alex's meticulous planning and Samira's enthusiastic improvisation. Alex studied Finch's map, comparing it to topographical surveys, while Samira packed high-energy snacks and a first aid kit that could rival a paramedic's. They told their parents they were hiking the familiar Sunset Ridge Trail, a slight omission of their true, more ambitious goal. The next morning, under a sky the color of robin's eggs, they set off. The initial part of the trail was easy, but where Finch's map indicated a deviation, the forest thickened. "Where the eagle sleeps," Samira murmured, scanning the towering pines. High above, a lone hawk circled lazily. "Maybe it's not a literal eagle's nest," Alex suggested, "but a landmark? Something that looks like a sleeping eagle." They searched, pushing through thorny undergrowth, their initial excitement giving way to a creeping frustration. Just as Alex was about to suggest turning back, Samira let out a triumphant cry. "Look!" She pointed to a peculiar rock formation at the base of a steep incline, a large moss-covered boulder that from a certain angle did indeed resemble a bird, with its head tucked under its wing. Behind the boulder, almost entirely obscured by ferns, was the faintest indentation in the earth, the forgotten path. It was steep and treacherous, more a goat track than a human trail. Their legs burned, and sweat stung their eyes. Doubts gnawed at Alex. Was this reckless? "Come on, Alex. We're so close," Samira urged, her determination unwavering. Her confidence buoyed him, and together they pushed onward, scrambling over loose scree and hauling themselves up using exposed roots. Hours later, exhausted but exhilarated, they emerged onto a narrow, rocky outcrop. The view that spread before them stole their breath. They were higher than they'd ever been, looking down upon a panorama of undulating green hills, the distant town, a miniature playset, and the river, a silver ribbon snaking through the valley. It was a vista of wild, untouched beauty, vastly superior to any postcard viewpoint. There was no treasure chest, no gold, but the sense of discovery was intoxicating. Tucked into a crevice in the rock, they found a small, weathered, tin box. Inside, nestled on a bed of dried moss, was a single, perfectly preserved eagle feather and a small, tarnished silver compass. A note, penned in Finch's elegant script, read, "For those who dare to look beyond the known. The world is full of wonders, if only we have the courage to seek them." They sat in silence for a long time, sharing a canteen of water and the profound satisfaction of their achievement. Samira carefully placed the feather and compass back in the tin, leaving it for the next intrepid soul, perhaps another 100 years from now. The descent was challenging in its own way, their muscles aching, but their spirits soared. They had faced the unknown, relied on each other, and uncovered a secret piece of their own backyard. Alex realized that adventure wasn't always about distant lands. Sometimes it was about looking at the familiar with new eyes and daring to step off the beaten path. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows, they emerged from the woods, dirty, tired, but with a shared sea.